All right, and we're back here once again on Couch Coach Live. Another Wednesday night under the lights. What's going on, Maui?
Chilling. What's up, man?
Not too much, man. Same old, just working, man. Same old. Just
Yeah,
another day. We're here once again under the lights. Yeah,
right.
yeah, man. So, obviously now we're in April. So obviously we got so much stuff coming up this month. We got the NFL draft, the NBA playoffs. We got a lot of stuff going on this month. Also with the we got the Final Four coming up this weekend. Got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great stuff coming up this weekend. So I got a great show lined up for you tonight. First, we'll talk about Stefon Diggs being traded to the Houston Texans. A very shocking, not shocking, but a very interesting trade that happened today in the NFL. We'll talk about that. Emmanuel Acho had some comments towards Angel Reese. We'll talk about that. NC State advanced to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this Wolfpack team remind us a lot of the 1983 team. We'll talk about that as well. Bronny James is rumored that he might be hitting the transfer portal. We'll talk about that and where he potentially go. And I got a place where I think he should definitely go for a selfish reason, but we'll talk about that momentarily. And then we'll wrap up the show, give a shout out to our game ball this week, and then just our final thoughts. And we'll talk about tragic passing in the NFL. We'll talk about that as the show. And so we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We'll kick that intro, and we will be right back. And definitely huge shout out to our guy Big Kirko doing his thing, about to be doing his thing in Atlanta. So we back here at the on Couch Coach Live. So before we get started, definitely gotta give a huge shout out to our guy Bell. Shout out to our guy Lamar. Shout out
Oh
to what's
God.
going on, bro. And the Texans are going to be dangerous. So yes, and perfect segue into our opening topic here on Couch Coach Live tonight. Before we get started, this week's Couch Coach Live is powered by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code CouchCoach at checkout to get yourself $20 off your next sporting event. If you want to head to Phoenix for the Final Four and the men's Final Four, hell, if you want to go to Bears' hometown in Cleveland and go to the women's on Friday and Sunday night, hey, we got you
Right.
covered. So, and then also opening days around across the country in Major League Baseball. But we here. So we got to talk about a very interesting trade that happened this morning in the National Football League where we had Stefon Diggs being traded to the Houston Texans. Well, which the Houston Texans received, obviously, Stefon Diggs, a 2024 six-round pick and a 2025 fifth-round pick. The Bills get a 2025 second-round pick in exchange. And also the Bills will have to eat $31 million in dead cap. So pretty much Stephon Diggs' contract will be on their books for this season for $31 million. So what's your thoughts on Stephon Diggs going to Houston and just your overall thoughts on the move for Houston?
I didn't know that last part. I don't know. Me, I wrote. I don't really know. I, I'm happy Diggs is out, so maybe he can find some happiness. He seemed like he was never happy in Buffalo, and I could shout out to the pod god, I think y'all call him. A few years back we spoke about Allen, and once he got paid, it just seemed like he still was putting up numbers, but he just couldn't get over a hump. But to me, Allen is a run first quarterback, and I think you get kind of frustrated when you the number one receiver and you're not getting those passes because he's running. But I can understand that. But there's been some important games. Diggs that has been dropping some balls that he needed to catch, especially last year, if I'm not mistaken, in the playoffs. So it just was time. It's I think when we were talking about it that year, I think it might have been 19. It was on 19. No, it must have been 21. And they were looking like they should have won the Super Bowl that year. They were loaded. You remember that? We were saying how loaded they were, and
Yeah.
it just seemed like ever since then they're losing. Eat this player, losing that player, losing that. Everybody wants to leave, and so I'm just happy for him. And he's going to a young team that is looking really, really dangerous right now. And I didn't know that the Bills was going to have to eat that 31 million.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, okay, so what's maybe you can explain that to me? What's really going on? What he just must they must really wanted him to either be gone.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, normally, because that's I thought, many people looked at it. I know I thought about it too, where I didn't think he was going to necessarily get traded in this kind of manner because of just
Right.
the salary cap hit that it was gonna happen. But this is kind of one of those moves where this is what the Bills wanted to do. You look at it now, that wide receiver room looks totally like paper thin at this point. You got Curtis Samuel, Shakir, I think I forgot Mac Hollins, my nephew from University of North Carolina. So you only really
Mm-hmm.
got those three guys in your wide receiver room at this point. I don't know what the Bills are going to do. I know this is a wide receiver rich draft, so potentially I think they could potentially
Oh, okay.
get some get a wide receiver, in the draft this year. But I mean, to think to all you gave up, all you got was a 2025 second round pick. I think to myself in around the NFL circles, like, damn, that was a price for it. Like some teams, so I was like, it's kind of one of those like, wow, all you had to do was really give them a two. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
as a Commanders fan, I'm like, oh, we could have gave you the Chicago pick, our 40th pick that we got from
Mm-hmm.
Chicago to take to get Diggs. But it is here no there. But I like what the Texans are doing. I know it's funny because I know we talked about it on the show, but I know I talked about it on other shows where I thought that it kind of not getting the Saquon Barkley was,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, they didn't get him, but they ended up getting like a Joe Mixon. But this, like to me, was like their slam dunk acquisition. The Texans mean business this offseason. Obviously, we talked about them even the first wave of free agency where we looked at them get like Danielle Hunter, also getting Joe Mixon, Jeff Okuda, Nico Autry. We thought those guys. We thought to themselves like, wow, they they're they're not resting on their laurels after that 10-7 AFC championship, AFC South championship. And yeah, I love the move for them. And now you team him up, especially with that group. I think what on that team you got Nico Collins. I forgot who's the other wide receiver, couple of wide receivers there with the Texans. So you look at yourself like, man, this is going to be a formidable team, and especially
Mm-hmm.
a great leader for a guy like CJ Stroud, and he'll have that. And then even to that, like, to your point, we talk about the Buffalo situation. I mean, you think about it. The simple fact, once Ken Dorsey left, I mean, essentially, when they let him go as offensive coordinator, he was pretty much non-existent in their offense, and it's kind of,
Right.
it's kind of one of those where, it's just been a very weird situation in Buffalo. You can tell, like even throughout the years, like the body language between him and Josh Allen was a little bit
Yes.
off. And I think it's just one of those where it was time, like you said, because normally you don't eat $31 million off the cap.
Right.
So it's definitely interesting, that circumstance there as well. But before we move on to our next topic, I definitely gotta bring in our guest. See if our guest is ready here. And let's see.
Oh, it's good,
We got
fellas.
our What's going on, Tony? I got Tony the Savant. What's going on, man?
I'm good, big bro. How you doing, man?
What's up?
Good,
What's up?
man. Good, 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 good. So before we was talking about Stefon Diggs being traded to the Houston Texans. What's your thoughts on Stefon Diggs heading to Houston?
I think this is a great move. Of course, with the team. Apologies, brothers, for being late, man.
It's all good. It's all good.
Professionalism. But I love it. You know, I love CJ Stroud. I love what the Houston Texans got going on. I love the coach. I feel like this move just made him it might sound a little bit cap. I'm going with my hot take early, bro. But I think this move put Houston Texans in the top 10 as far as talent goes. I think we would have said they were about 2 or 3 years, behind schedule last year as far as being a serious contender. I think bringing Diggs in and mixing with some veterans and some locker room wisdom in addition to the talent they already got over there with Nico and Tank and, of course, CJ. Yeah, man, I love what you were saying as well, though, Leroy. This is a big move. So it's kind of daunting for Bills Mafia, because they had the team, they had a Super Bowl contending team, and so now you're starting to lose those pieces, and where do you go, at this point? But I love it for Houston.
I can't wait to see what Josh Allen's going to do because, no offense, I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback, but I think he's about to feel that heat. They put you on that pedestal, say you was that dude, and now you lose. He's been losing weapons since they were supposed to be loaded. Like, I remember that. Like, they was like, man, they're right there. They should be easily be in the Super Bowl. And but he's a running quarterback, and people just don't look at him like he's a running quarterback. I don't mind him running, but you got to use your weapons. Once they start realizing, hey, man, we're going to let's let him go ahead and run. Let's beat him up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and beat him up, especially in the playoffs. So you ain't got Diggs no more, man.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. And like I said, hopefully they'll get something in the draft because I think the way the draft is setting up, I think it's some value maybe where they're at in the first round to potentially get a wide receiver. But he's not going to be as productive as Stefon Diggs, no question. But yeah, I mean, you think they lost Dave Davis. And then, when I also forgot about with the Texans, they get his other teammate, Schultz. Dalton Schultz is there as well, too, as far as when we talk about the acquisition for Houston. So, man.
And then, Texas got a coach. Texas got a coach somebody wants to play for, too. It seems like them guys are having fun being around a player coach like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, I agree. I love it. And I'm a Packers man, big bro. So and I know we're a young team. We're building. One of my colleagues that I work with, he's a Texan fan. So we kind of like having this, young team off who's going. And with this acquisition, I thought we made some leeway with Josh Jacobs, but them picking up Mixon and Diggs, I was like, all right. Yeah. Y'all about a year ahead of us on schedule now.
Sure. And even in the beauty of this deal too is we'll potentially see Diggs versus Diggs. We might see Trayvon versus because that's the Cowboys +1 this year NFL season. So they'll play each other this year. The Texans and the Cowboys. So
I don't want to make this a Cowboy streaming, bro, because but I'm in.
No.
And I'm amongst the Cowboy Nation, man, and it was I was laughing at them when they dropped the ball on Derrick Henry. You got this guy's blood brother on your staff. You weren't able to. You had no leeway to get them, so.
Because they eventually want to get rid of the brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Respectfully.
Yeah, but and that's why I think all NFL teams we think to yourself, all it took was a second round pick to get Stefon Diggs. Like, why not? Why not? I mean, because even though you can get great value in that second round, but you're not going to sit here and have a 1,300-yard receiver just fall into your lap like that. So it's it's just like when I heard that, I was like, that's all. Like, it's all by that way. I think every NFL team besides the Houston Texans was like, this all.
Yeah.
Like, did you consult with the other 30 teams in the league? Like,
yeah, we got them for a bag of potato chips, man.
Pretty much.
Whatever they get out of that second round is going to take some time to develop anyway. So I take
or he didn't want to go to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, that's another good point.
Me too. But yeah, I think that's the alarming thing. Is like all of us thinking to ourselves like that's all it took. Like
A
hell,
lot of dudes. A lot of dudes. My bad, coach. My bad, people.
Good.
You know how it is.
But yeah, and the Texans got a 6th and a 5th round for next year. I'm like, oh, like
man, just go. What else y'all want?
Right.
I got some Hennessy right here. I got some hot dogs.
We could have gave you a this year's pick, like a 2nd round pick for this year, not next year.
I'm just tired of y'all, man.
Like,
just leave.
Hey, man.
For real.
Yeah.
But man, a lot of they probably respect Dak. A lot of dudes, I think I'm not a receiver, but I have a thing with like putting myself in another person's shoes. Okay, he played with Minnesota, and then I'm talking about Diggs, and they had quarterback issues, right? Then he goes to Buffalo, and it's again some type of quarterback issues or chemistry between him and Allen. He probably was like, man, I'm not about to go there and be playing with Dak, because it seemed like some of them players don't like Dak, or they think Dak is a certain way. And I'm sure his brother is telling him, like, man, they go down there with them Texas boy. They all right. If you get out, because I think I seen something today where somebody said, oh wow, it's been a couple weeks. They were telling them, like, man, my brother about to go. He about to go with Houston. He about to be traded. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people are looking at that now, especially when you're a veteran, put some years in. Like, I want to go somewhere. I want to get my money, but I also want to be comfortable, man.
Yeah.
Point
be real.
So I think, saying what you're saying, I think the NFL should investigate the Dallas Cowboys, because I think that's tampering.
You heard the same thing?
I think that's tampering.
You heard the same thing?
Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell. I want to report the Dallas Cowboys. I want to be stripped of 2 first-round picks, 2024, 2025, immediately.
Era of tampering. Like, these dudes be on social media doing all but snitching. Just
right.
Want to go over here, this coach and this team and this scheme. It's like,
right.
Let's tamper. Let's get some tamper allegations going.
Man, I was just talking. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I can see Roger Goodell too, like making that face. Like when Sierra was talking to him at the game, he was like,
hey man, it's crazy. But yeah. So we're gonna talk a little basketball. So we're gonna talk about a very interesting, multi-layered conversation. So we'll talk about how we're gonna introduce it. So I'm gonna play some brief snippets of LSU's press conference. Well, let's present it first. Obviously, shout out to LSU and Iowa. Great game on Monday that drew 12.3 million views, and obviously we know the outcome of that game where Iowa did win. This was a rematch of last year's national championship game. So obviously after the loss, LSU went to the podium. That it was with Kim Mulkey, Haley Van Lith, Flau'jae Johnson, and Angel Reese. We'll show some brief snippets of it, and then Emmanuel Acho had an interesting take about Angel Reese being a quote unquote villain and this, that, and the third. But we'll play his as well. So before we get that all started, this is fair use. We'll start first with a little bit of the LSU just to give some context. So I'm gonna play that right here momentarily, and we'll get that going. And let's see what we got here. So we'll start at. It's just a brief one. This is the first thing I'm going to discuss. It's going to be not discussed, but more so what I'm going to highlight. They're going to talk about Angel Reese. I think this question was about her ankle and just about the game itself. So we'll kind of play that momentarily. Won't play the whole press conference, but just a little snippet to kind of give some context. Fair use.
Affect you for the rest of the game if it did affect you?
Yeah, I did roll my ankle on one of the cameras. And I mean, I'm tough, so I tried to play through it, of course. And this is something that has been going on for a little while now, but I played through it, and I'm not going to make that excuse. for the rest of my play for the game.
All right, so we have that. Then it's going to a little excerpt that's going to be Flajay Johnson, and they're going to talk about briefly like their thoughts on Angel Reese. We might have enough in this clip to show Haley Van Lift's response, but if we don't, it'll just be Flajay.
I'm aggressive. I just wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? When you play a player like that,
points and be a factor on both ends.
bro, let me tell you something. Everybody can have their opinion on Angel Reese, but y'all don't know her. Like, y'all don't know Angel Reese. I know Angel Reese. I know the real Angel Reese. And the person I see every day is a strong person. Is a caring, loving person, bro. The crown she wears is heavy, bro. She's the type of teammate that's going to make you believe in yourself. The leap that I took from my freshman to sophomore year, Angel gave me that confidence to go be a dog. Playing next to a dog every day. And, you know, just to see how the media ridicule her, went through our problems, but, like, this is my sister right here. And I'm so proud of her. Like, the media, y'all, how they like to twist and call her the villain and all of that, y'all, I don't know Angel, bro. And I'm just happy that I get to play with her. I get to be around her presence. Her energy is different. Like, she just made me a better player. She made me a better player, and that's what great players do.
All right, and that was Flajay. And then this is going to be a response to a reporter's going to ask her a question. Primarily, it's going to be more so just her thoughts of what Flajay and Haley said. And this is where I think the Emmanuel Acho conversation starts as far as this concerned. So we'll play this audio real quick, and then we'll play Acho's response to it.
Erica L. Ayala with CBSSports.com. Angel, this question will be for you if you are willing to share what was going through your mind as you heard your two teammates right here on the dais, just taking the opportunity to really stand up for you and what your journey has been like that we don't get to see.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and, like, not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, like, I'm still human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship. And I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks. But I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything. And I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are. Keep waking up every day. Keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
This is for Kim. Can you talk a little bit?
Let's wait till they leave.
Sure.
So I wanted to add that. I wanted to add Kim Mulkey said, wait till they leave.
Wait, who was Kim talking about? I didn't. Were you talking about the players?
No. One of the reporters was asking a question because at that point, the only people that were supposed to only ask questions for the student athletes. Okay. So then the guy was like, "Well, Kim, I have a question," and she was like, "Wait till they leave."
Yeah. So, Kim, man, she a different kind of person.
Hold on. Is that the coach? That was a coach?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
she's wilding, dude. You can tell she be wilding.
Wait till they leave. But yeah. All right. So got some context as far as pretty much how the press conference went on Monday night. So then obviously Emmanuel Acho from Speak, shout out to them. Acho, Shady, Joy. Yeah. And what's that guy with his the cat that used to wear the hoodies? Jones, the right receiver you're from your squad. What's your boy? The wide receiver that used to wear the hoodies in the
Uh,
game. James Jones. That's what. Yeah. What's James
James
Jones?
Jones.
Yeah, James Jones. Yeah. So
Okay.
shout out to them. So we'll talk. So we'll show the video of Emmanuel Acho momentarily. We'll show that right now. And once again, this is fair use. Fair use.
I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take a L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches a L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you because you were the second best basketball player on the court and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't under any circumstance go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero.
All right. All right. So, fellas, we got to go around the horn. First, I'm going to go with you first, Tony. Your thoughts on Emmanuel Acho, his thoughts on Angel Reese. What you got?
To speak right to Emmanuel Acho, and forgive me, big bro, I consume a lot of sports media. Emmanuel Acho is their show Speak. I've heard of it. It's not one that I daily consume. So I was when you was telling me about this subject, we was chopping it up earlier. I wanted to hear this for the first time on the show. So hearing that for the first time, respectfully, I agree with it 50% and I disagree with it 50% because here's the thing. Smack talking, all that stuff, man, this is a part of sports. I don't know why people want to get the emotions all riled up because one young lady that plays a college sport is doing what everybody has done since the beginning of time. We're talking about gladiators in Rome used to talk crap to each other, documented. So it's the matter of the fact that I hate when the media gets into all this, who's the hero, who's the villain, because Caitlin Clark has done the exact same things that Angel Reese has done. You know what I mean? Exactly to the T. And we're not calling Caitlin Clark a villain. But on the part of it, I want to say that's the part of it that's my take. But I agree with him because, yes, Angel Reese is in a position where you have a target on your back. You know, you were doing your gloating this time last year when y'all was winning. You and Flaugier, doing your media tour, talking big. But I disagree with him because, all right, I don't think people are painting Angel Reese as a victim to the point where, she's taking criticism. I think people are painting her as a victim. As a villain, because she's an easy target. You know what I mean? When you're a black athlete in this side of America, you're going to take some target. LeBron does it. Jordan did it. And we can go down the list. Every black athlete that has reached prominence has taken a high degree of criticism. So, at the end of the day, I hate to say it because as much as I disagree with him, big bro, I agree with him. It's just one of them things. I feel like this is only a real hot topic because of the times we're living in. If this was 2014, we're not, like, all right, she lost. The girl just declared for the WNBA draft. She's only going up from here. So there's no real reason to feel bad for her. But this is only a real hot topic because 2024 is the era of you said something to me, and now I'm going to run to Twitter and cry about it. This is why we're talking about it, so. I don't know if that's a fair take, big bro. Like I said, I agree, I disagree,
we all got opinions. It's all good. That's what we hear.
Yeah.
What you got, Mal?
I agree with you, homie. But at the same time, you're a superstar. You really are a superstar. You won. You, Caitlin Clark, Juju, all y'all, like people watching, they seeing other people. Like I just seen Isaiah James You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, she was balling. It comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand it. It comes with it. It's just like a comedian who sell out and he sees the 2 or 3 people that's not laughing. It comes with it.
Right.
And, and somebody, and she's still young. Somebody should tell her, really, you get in the NIL, you need to have a team that before you get up there and you get emotional, say, hey, thick skin. That's what your profession is gonna be. You're gonna lose some, you're gonna win some. You know, I was watching something and somebody said, man, look at LeBron. He left, I think against the Pacers game, he left seconds early. And then we always do this. And I'm like, people just forget. I remember when Jordan played the Pistons, I think in the Eastern Conference Championship, he got so upset, he just left and got in his car. So because he's upset with his team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying it's just like, it's like if you are really not paying attention, the media can manipulate you. And a lot of guys on pods that's doing this and that, they like to play with that so they can get views. If I was with her, she doesn't need anybody to stick up for her because she is going to be one of the faces of the WNBA. And she's got to be able to stand up, speak. Hey, one of the faces that was in the WNBA was locked up in Russia.
Yeah.
You feel me? And that's probably one of the worst things that could happen to anybody. So, you know, they going to make her the villain because if you're not going against her team, hell, Caitlyn is a villain too. Because she gonna drop that 3 in your face. She gonna be just as bad. She a young Skywalker. Like, you know, what are we talking about here? It will let you know about it. And it's funny with these girls, if they do make a shot, the refs will let them yell in the opponent's face. I was tripping off it. I was like, yeah, why they just let them talk like that? But it needed to be said how he said it because so she can know because somebody needs to tell her that. You know what I'm saying? Like, look. You got to go out here and be professional, give respect. And when there comes a time, then you'll be able to express yourself about how the media and this and that treat you. Because trust me, you're not the only one. It's just a part of the game. If you think it's a joke, go follow Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I would take a different take on it. I actually disagree with what Acho said because I think people got to realize, even in the context of the press conference, she didn't say anything like as far as she didn't cry about the game or even excuse of her having an ankle injury. I think she just got caught in the emotions of said Flage and Haley Van Lith saying stuff giving her flowers. I think that's when she became emotional and she became at that point. And then with the follow-up, when the lady asks, hey, well, what's your thoughts on Haley and Flage, what they said about you? And I think that's when she had the outpouring of emotion. Now, if she volunteered that information, then that's a different thing. But she was asked that question. Like, I can understand if she did a video and said this by herself. I think that's what a lot of people, I think, took it as. And I looked at it initially without seeing the press conference too. I was like, well, let's add this to the show because it adds some context. Because I think if you see on the surface, you would think, okay, she just said this on herself on her own, and she was unprovoked. But I still think, like she said, as far as, you know, the question was asked, because I guarantee if she would have said, well, no, I'm not even gonna say nothing, then they would have made even more of the quote unquote stuff, you know, quote unquote villain. So to me, I give her a lot of respect because I think people fail to realize, like, she's 15, 20 minutes away from this loss. She's fresh off this loss. Kim Mulkey probably talked for like 10 minutes. Then they had like a 5 or 10 minute cooling period, and they had to go into that press room and speak. And I think she held herself together initially. Like, I think that's why I wanted that first thing I wanted the question about her with the ankle situation, where she didn't make no excuse, this, and third. But even when she asked that question, she even said, despite that, you know, I get all this hate, but I won't. It's like one of the situations where I wouldn't take what has happened to me back. Like, it's not something that, you know, I will embrace it. And like she even said, like, even in this type of moment, you know, I want people to be themselves and to stay 10 toes down. And I think to me, and even when she wasn't really crying per se, like you can see like some tears there, but she's not like boo-hooing. But I think you just get caught in the moment. I couldn't imagine losing like that your last game at LSU. You got two of your teammates speaking high praise of you. I mean, damn the tissues. I would have needed a towel.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you gotta think yourself like So I get where Ocho comes from because I don't think he, in my personal opinion, had the context like we provided as far as the press conference. Because I think it's like because to me, I think that plays a different role. She just answered the question, but like I said, she would have been quote unquote vilified if she didn't answer that question or said next question. So she was just being transparent, and this is the time of year we see kids 18 now, 25 because kids stay in school at 25 now. That's a joke. But we're seeing guys like we see guys week in and week out crying. I mean, we see on the men's side and the women's side. You're going to see even more this weekend because now the stakes are so higher. So you're going to see that. And, especially you'll see the emotion on One Shining Moment, which I can't wait to Monday night. But you'll see that the emotion. You'll see the guys and girls crying. Like, it is what it is. And I think, I just think he just didn't have the context. I think he probably came from the scope of she said this on her own. Like she just said, "Hey, I'm a victim." No, she just answered the question like she's supposed to. That's what the media. And then she's doing what she's doing what she's obligated to do, which is address the media. So,
man, that's a great take. That great perspective, fellas. I'm with you on that. I didn't even look at it like that. You're right. But I ain't gonna front. I would have loved her to get up like LeBron did with the sunglasses and the bag when he just this stuff. What?
Right. And she would have got heat for that, right? That's right. Regardless, Angel Reese could have just sat there and just said nothing.
I mean, honestly, what happened was probably exactly what's supposed to happen because she, no offense, she's a, I don't like to say to be gender, but it's a really, it was emotional time, and I get it. You know what I mean? I get it.
Because I think she already knew she was going because obviously the deadline to declare for the draft is tonight at 10 o'clock. So it's like she knew beforehand that she was gone. So I think, I know they asked her that in the press conference. She said whenever she's ready. But your mind, this probably already like predetermined that she was gonna go to the draft. So it's kind of one of those where she knew it was the end. And it just happened. And I think I'm just curious as far as when it comes to type stuff like, and it will kind of a great way to kind of bleed into the next topic, like with DJ Burns when he trolled Duke after they beat Duke on Saturday. So what if he loses either Saturday or Monday night and he cries? Are we going? Are we going to give him that same energy? I doubt it. So it's one of those things.
Nothing. He big.
But remember, we got webcams and computers, so we can say whatever. He's not coming to get us. He's like 200 miles away from us. He's coming to get us.
You the one that was making fun of me? I'm behind the car. Go ahead, DJ. Go on, DJ.
I do want to chime in, fellas. In the spirit of giving flowers, I love this show. This is why I can't consume a lot of the mainstream guys and the top talent dudes, is because you guys like Couch Coach Live, and you gonna get the perspectives you need. I'll watch those, and I'll be running back to my show. But and two, I just want to take a moment to shout out Flaw J and Haley Van Lith, because people don't really realize. All of these girls are talented, man. They all are buckets. Haley Van Lith, especially, she was doing her thing at Louisville, and she understood the importance of chasing a championship and putting that on her resume. So she took a sacrifice. It didn't work out for her, but she still was able to be we haven't heard any, locker room drama, coming from this team, and they are. If there was going to be locker room drama with all of the stars they got, we ain't named Pola, we ain't named Anessa, the two other, proverbial stars on the team. So I just want to take a time to give you gentlemen, y'all just do, and also take a moment to really appreciate, because we in today of yellow journalism, if there was a story like you all said, bro, Mal said, I think you said it, Coach, that situation played out exactly how it went to, and If it would have went any other way, it would have been more people just jumping on her for the clicks. But
Right.
but shout out to the team, shout out to the
Yeah.
professionalism, and I made a blog about this, just talking about Angel going to the WNBA.
Yeah.
I'm actually become a WNBA fan. I'm gonna follow Angel and Caitlin, man, because these girls have generated so much interest in college for me. I'm about to be. Hey, look, I got 2 daughters anyway, too, bro. We going to the games. We going with Auntie Angel.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can shoot, man. Take a whole bunch of people because the ticket's $15.
That's why
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring some comedy.
That's why, yeah. But selfishly, I want Angel to come home, come to the Mystics.
Yeah, please.
And bring me back to some of the Mystics.
Hey,
PR.
and she
bring
looked.
me back. Bring me
Yeah.
back. Mama, please, bring me back. I'm begging you. Bring me back to something.
That's been right. I said that too. If she get drafted, come on to Chicago Sky.
I know because y'all 6, right, or something like that. Yeah, I'm not y'all 8th or 9th. I forgot. Yeah, so yeah, she come to Chicago. That's pretty wild.
I mean, we ain't gonna be in the mix by the time Angel go. Angel going 1 or 2, I'm sure.
Hey, I don't know, but the thing about it, we're gonna find out very soon because the draft is the 15th, so that's next Monday.
Oh, the WNBA draft?
Yes.
Hell, I did not know.
Crazy, right? Yes, the draft is like the 15th. That's why it's gonna be crazy because they've already played a season already. The college they played a season already.
Mm-hmm.
The national championship is Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Then the draft is the 15th, and then they're gonna be playing probably right around like Memorial Day weekend. So so they're gonna be playing all the way to maybe like October. If they team make it to the finals, but
I know we got another thing to talk about. Do you think? I mean, this is real quick. Do you feel like if they bring the attention that we thinking they're going to bring, that they're going to figure out a way to balance it out so they won't hurt their players as much? Like it seemed like to me they just put it in so fast. Like you just played college, you get the draft by Memorial Day. That seemed like that's not a lot of time.
Yeah, but they don't have no choice. I mean, because they really don't. I mean, because they really can't have. They can't be like because they can't go toe and toe with the NBA. So it's kind of tough for them to even be in that predicament. Like as far as yeah.
I agree with Coach. The WNBA marketing team, it should all be pink slipped because every time they get a pre-star like an Angel Reese, we've seen it with Maya Moore, Candace Park. Once you get into the NBA, man, you just go into media oblivion. So they have to get these girls into the quickly because, like you said, Coach, they can't compete with the NBA. The NBA got training camps, all this other stuff that we kind of fool around with. They got to get they already operate at a loss.
That's true, and I think what's going to help WNBA is probably Caitlin Clark because them our fans, because they gonna try to shoot. You have a highway full with people coming from Iowa City to Indianapolis for the FIBA games, because that's the thing with her. She got fans and they got pockets. They got they travel with her. Them fools even had a "Don't Be a Cheryl" type of shirts. They got money. You know what I'm saying? They done created shirts because Cheryl Swoop said she don't think she's gonna make it immediate impact the first year. Which I mean that's here or there. But like you said, they support her. Like they preseason game, they packed out a football stadium. I'm like, and they will do that. They will mess around and go. It will be a traffic jam from Iowa City to Indianapolis because they buy tickets, they buy merch.
They don't even realize.
And that's what
they don't realize they got the Magic and Bird right now, man. You better take advantage of this situation. You better. We've been talking about this for a few years now. Everybody's wide open. It's the numbers that it needs to be a revamp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to take advantage of this, and then hopefully, then Juju here come Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying her Jordan. I'm just saying in general, somebody who's going to have an impact. That's balling like her. You know what I mean?
And you fellas old enough. I say Juju is the real life Monica from
love basketball. Yeah.
We're gonna hear she's gonna be dating some USC dude, and that's gonna be the trade.
and it was I hate to say this out loud. That was supposed to be Bronny because they went to high school together. And I thought about that too, because I thought about it last year because I was like, This is some really like love and basketball type of stuff. I mean, even though it was like, oh, they not messing with each other. I'm just saying, just the context. They went to the same high school. They went to USC.
Yeah.
Somebody lost their job to a freshman. Did you walk it?
She does look like she went to Garfield High or Central High in Akron. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know how them side of town, she be like, you look like you went to Central High. We're like, for
and
real.
And to me, she's NBA ready. I mean, WNBA ready. I think she has like that. She just has that like that it factor.
Coach, I gotta stop you there, man. There's only one collegiate athlete right now that is ready for the next level, and it was not Juju. Actually, the young lady across the team from a Paige Buckers, man.
Paige, she ready.
She ain't get big bro. I'm gonna be honest. I've watched her over the years, but when she got injured, I kind of got out of the loop.
Yeah.
So this year, I just kind of been hearing about it, but I've been hearing about. Of course, we've been hearing about Caitlin, Juju, everybody else except her. Actually watching this game, and Coach, shout out to Coach Gino, because if you want to see a master class of coaching, you got to watch that UConn women's basketball. You go learn something about some coaching. But Paige is just like, she reminds me of like several different players, but Kobe and that mentality, like she stay focused. Even when she playing bad, she like, I got something for you next play. Tim Duncan, as far as fundamentals, if you watch her play defense, she boxed up, shoulders, knees, everything lined up.
Yep.
And then as far as, this gonna sound crazy, but my favorite female basketball player of all time, Maya Moore. Because Maya Moore was just, I'm giving it to you tonight. You best bring your lunch. You getting 31. Not 30. Maya give you 31. So she reminds me of some of my favorite athletes. And I did a little blog on this one too, but I was just saying, like, watching her during that game, it was deadly obvious. This girl's gonna be something on the next level. And the media is doing an injustice, not promoting her, as much.
And that's why I find it so weird, like, because we always bigged up the UConn stars. Like, everybody who went to UConn, they got that treatment. I mean, like, and rightfully so. Like you said, it's weird, like, how you look at, because you even go back to the days of Sue Bird, even Rebecca Lobo,
even Kimball Walker.
Sales, all the UConn. Right. That's what I'm saying. And you look at like Breonna Stewart, like you're saying, and like you said, Paige, it should be in that class. Like she should be in that, as far as when we talk about UConn athletes. But I guess that's another thing too. It's kind of a good and a bad thing where the talents are more scattered around more so, now versus, in past where, obviously UConn always had embarrassment of riches. But you also had some other teams. You had like the Tennessees doing their thing. You had, you still had like LSU kind of doing their thing. Simone Augustus, and I mean, you've had, we've had like some teams, but now I think it's so dispersed and so wide open. So, but yeah, she definitely deserves it. But yeah, somebody they did not a stat, but they showed a graphic of the class of 2020, the top 5, and they all balling. I think it was Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Paige, Cameron Burke, and who was it? And Haley, Haley Van Lith. Yep, Haley Van Lith. Yep, that's crazy. All of them have lived up to the hype, which is crazy.
Yeah,
you never heard that at this point.
They gonna talk about Paige because they probably about to win. I think they're going to end up winning, man, because they just look more organized. Like it was just certain things they would do the way I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw Iowa and I saw a little more maturity this year.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. I think UConn gonna win this year.
Hey man, UConn has 5. I'm not sure which one of these young ladies I started, but 5 big time players injured. Like they are playing with people that probably from the practice squad. I'm not saying disrespect. I'm just saying.
I mean, I just felt the energy, how you feel it, and I'm like, just like we probably the next one I was gonna bring up the girls, and because I think Isaiah, I was watching, I think her name was Isaiah James, that played for NC State. Like, I was like, man, these girls is balling, man. There's a bunch of names that they're not talking about that's looking for that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in that graphic, it wasn't Haley Van Lith, it was actually Cardoso from the USC.
Deep.
around here, from here,
Yeah, the other
But yeah, so yeah, and we definitely got to give a huge shout out to the NC State, the women Wolfpack. They also advanced to the Final Four, and also we got to talk about the men's NC State Wolfpack, which in a crazy way, and this I don't know, something about this team is really really interesting. So obviously, if you paid attention over the last about 3 weeks, they've been by far the team in college basketball. And okay, so their reign started on March the 4th, and this is in the ACC tournament. They beat Louisville, which we know Louisville was a shambles at the time. They went on to beat Syracuse the next day. They beat Duke the very next day. They beat UVA, and then they end up beating North Carolina in the ACC tournament. So they won 5 games in 5 days. So then fast forward on March 21st, they beat Texas Tech. March 23rd, they beat Oakland. March 29th, they beat Marquette in the Sweet 16, and then they also beat Duke in the Elite 8. Obviously, you look at this NC State team, obviously led by DJ Burns, the darling of the dance at this point. He's doing his thing. Casey Morcell, and then Jaden Taylor. Just a nice little trio there with NC State. They're doing their thing. So they'll be playing on Saturday against Purdue, that's led by Zach Edey, doing his thing. So what's your thoughts on just NC State making it to the Final Four? And man, I don't know, for some odd reason, this got a 1983 feeling. And I'll explain that momentarily, but it's getting a little crazy. So what are your thoughts? I'll go with you first, Tony. What are your thoughts on this NC State run?
Well, Coach, you was building up the intro just right for this team. And we're dealing with the collegiate leap year, where every 3, 4, 5 years you have a Cinderella team that just keeps winning. And it's like, how? My bracket was busted long ago, big bro. I'm talking about an 11 seed winning 5 games in 5 nights, unprecedented. And every one of those games, I picked against them. So at this point, and I like what Purdue got going on as well with the Eddie, but between DJ Burns, and you took my next line out of my head too, big bro, because my dad is who I really learned sports from, and he was a big Coach V guy. You know what I mean? He loved him bro. And I was like, why? Because by the time I showed up, NC State was butt cheeks. You know what I mean? But in North Carolina, one of my dad, and we from Chicago, big bro. You know what I'm saying? So he teams because he was a Coach V guy. And followed him, during the March Madness for his commentary reasons. But anyway, he's riding on high now. So again, me personally, I like to think that I can predict the future when it comes to sports. This team is throwing me off my rocker, man. And again, the number 11 seed just keeps winning, finding ways. I love DJ Burns, his attitude. It's hard to root against the Cinderella team, but we going through a college leap year. Where Cinderella team
What you got, man? What's your thoughts on NC State?
Man, just both DJs just balling, and I mean, the main thing I could say before I throw it to you, Coach, is just Burns, just to me stand out to see somebody that big, who is so swifty with his feet. I have conversation with guys at my job, older guys, and I was like, man, it feels good to see somebody using the backboard. I hate when people do layups and they don't like to use the backboard. And I'll say, did y'all ever play tips? Did y'all play 21? Right. I said, did y'all ever play tips? I said, I don't even hear the kids talk about they played tips. Mm-hmm. And we broke it down the game. And so to see a big man use his feet, man, let me tell you something. He from Chicago. Let me see that feet work. Look that feet. You know what I mean? Because the way he moving his feet, I was like, wow, man, he got to come to the league, because that might be one of those answers to go up against Joker.
Hey,
you know what I mean? So I don't know if they're gonna win, but they got somebody that's in there that we haven't seen somebody stop. So I think that's gonna be interesting to see if this Purdue situation, because they're going against Purdue, right?
Yeah.
To see if the two big men go at it.
Yeah.
But I also I did put something about the women winning 76 to 66, and Isaiah James got 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 27 points. Real swift. I can't wait to watch him, man, because I was watching their highlights and I was like, well, damn, this girl got a lot of confidence, man. Like she going like, you know what I mean? Ping, 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 ping. You know what I mean? Against, I think they went up against Texas. So
yeah, they beat Texas. Yo.
Yeah.
Oh, they gotta pack their lunch to Cleveland because they got South Carolina.
Yeah, I know.
Their lunch. Ooh.
So everybody go get a chance to see her. I can't. That's what's gonna be cool
Sure.
about it.
Yeah, this NC State team, it's strange, and we said this. It was a joke, but it's actually true. They actually won more games than the Wizards at that time. I think that time Wizards only won 4 games at the Capitol Center. Well, now what's called Capital One Center now. So that I don't know. This has a 1983 feel, and it's kind of one of those where it's the parallels are so crazy. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but damn it, we ain't gonna have another show until Monday. I mean, until next week. So I'll just say it. That 1983 team, they beat UVA twice. So they beat UVA in the ACC championship. That because at that time you had to, you had to win the conference. This is back in this not prehistoric because I was almost born that year. But anyway, but at that time it was 54. It was only 54 team tournament. So you getting an at-large bid at where they were wasn't going to happen. So I think they were like 20. I think they lost like 10 games prior to going to the tournament. So they would have had to win the tournament in order for them to win. So they beat UVA twice. They beat UVA in the ACC championship. Then they beat them in the regional final.
Like this team would do.
NC State beat Duke in the semifinals. Mm-hmm. Beat them in a Elite Eight, the West Regional Final. Mm. They go. So if NC State advances, and I'm gonna assume that they're gonna play UConn. Now UConn, not saying UConn is the 1983 Houston Cougars, but they are going to be highly favored in this basketball game. You think of that Houston team, the late great Guy Lewis. You had as a coach Hakeem Olajuwon. Faslem Majama, Clyde Drexler. This was like that team was loaded. Yeah. This UConn team is a defending national championship team that has not been behind since last year's Sweet 16. They've led the whole tournament, this whole entire tournament. They no one has got a lead on them. Last time somebody got a lead on them was in the Sweet 16 last year. This is the Derek Wittenberg shot. Like it's the parallels are so unreal. Like I mean, Thurl Bell is not DJ Burns, but it's like one of those where it's just like it's a lot of stuff. You think to yourself, this literally can freaking happen. Like it's to a point where I guarantee they watching Surviving Advance. I swear, I think they watch that every game because there's no way on earth that this is happening.
Yeah,
because it's to a point where we sit here. So if we did a show, okay, that was the 12th. That was that Tuesday. So they beat Louisville. And we was like, okay, if they would lose to Syracuse, Kevin Keats would have got fired. Mm-hmm. Kim and Kenny, because I want, like you said, I was like you, Tony. I wanted Kenny Payne to kind of stick around. I wanted Kenny because I wanted Kenny Payne to get a little bit of a chance. But obviously, them losing NC State. But 3 weeks ago, we could have been sitting here saying, well, Kevin Keats would have got fired if he would have lost to Syracuse. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. This is crazy. Like this is literally the 1983 team. It's crazy.
I've heard a lot of people compare Coach Keats to Coach V2. Like I'm not familiar with his body of work, but people say he has a lot of his personality traits that Coach V has.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's uncanny the differences the similarities in these teams, especially if they play UConn on Monday night. I mean, I know it's crazy. I know we got the shot clock era now, but obviously they kind of held the ball a little bit in that game against Houston. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but like this really, it's. I mean, this could potentially be a 30 for 30,
Mhm.
for our generation. It's crazy. It's unreal.
Living through
It's gonna happen. I got a strange feeling NC State is gonna pull this off.
Yeah, I can see it. I would love. And UConn's men's program, I haven't been paying as much attention because I love their women's program. I ain't gonna lie, man. I love Coach.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I can listen to Coach Gino talk all day on like motivational speeches and stuff, but in the same breath, I just haven't heard enough about this men's program that gives me confidence. If there's ever gonna be a Cinderella story, it can happen this year. Nobody.
Yeah, and I'm to a point where when it's gonna be midnight and they kiss a pumpkin, I don't. It's bizarre. Like I know you, and then you think you're going against a Zach Edey, 7'4". He's averaging 30 points a game in this tournament.
Yeah,
and if they can beat them on Saturday night, I'm like, they would be my favorites going into Monday. I know that sounds really crazy to go against a team that's fighting history. I think we haven't had a back-to-back champion since 07, 08, since the Florida teams with Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
And if we get this, and then it's weird because now you'll put Dan Hurley in that steam category. I think he might leapfrog in a weird way Jim Calhoun in a sense. I mean, in a weird way, even in a short period of time. Not saying that he will, but I know the conversation will be had when it comes to him. Now if they do win, him having 2 championships and back-to-back championships at that. So.
Yeah,
and he's fairly young. I think he might still be in his 50s at this point. I think Dan Hurley is that young.
Coach of UConn.
Yeah, that's right. Because he played college basketball like in the late mid-late 90s. Because he played for like Seton Hall. So he probably barely 50. He might be in his early 50s. No, he might be 40 something. Well, no.
No, he's probably early 50s because
early 50s.
I was born in '78. I was in high school when he was in college. So. He ain't that much older than me.
So he should be in his 50s because I know he's older than it's Dan Hurley. It is Dan Hurley. Because I keep on getting them confused with what's his jig? I think let me see. Yeah, so he 50. Oh, we're only 51. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So he got plenty of time. I mean, if he, just another 10, 15 years, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he got the time. But yeah, it makes me want to watch in advance. I need to see that before the weekend. So for at least for Saturday game. Yeah, because it's a great 30 for that. It's probably one of the best ones.
Really?
No lie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, surviving advance is always awesome. It's kind of you might want to be in a room by yourself.
Yeah, it's a tearjerker.
Because it does. Gosh, like it was one moment. I ain't gonna talk about it because I'm gonna be over here like Angel Reese.
That's like Angel Reese. Over to getting your Angel Reese on.
I can't defend this.
Right. Big straight up. But shout out to Angel Reese though. We said it in a juggling matter. Yeah. It's gonna be. This week is gonna definitely be interesting as far as what NC State can do. But like I'm at a point now, even as a Carolina fan, let Champagne let them win.
Yeah.
Because I'm at a point now where it's like it's a hell of a run. It's a great story. I mean, it's just a great story to think they literally have won 9 games in a row.
Yeah.
What 11 straight and right up to the sunset.
Surviving and advancing, coach.
Surviving and advance, yep.
Right.
Yep. And Jimmy V be smiling down looking at this team. For sure.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, man. But like I said, watch that, be by yourself and bring some tissue, maybe a towel.
This guy.
No, Tony, he agree with me. I'm telling you, watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, man, there's some stuff in there. It make you cry.
And I ain't gonna lie, when I watched it, I was really just watching it. I got a appreciation for the history of sports, but I didn't know what I was watching, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this coach passed away.
Yeah, and 10 years later, that's something, right? So let's talk about Bronny James. Let's talk about so
Oh
obviously there are rumors. This isn't official quite yet that Bronny James more than likely might hit the transfer portal. Obviously, this is in the wake of Andy Enfield is now the head coach at SMU. So definitely huge shout out to Coach Enfield. Welcome to the big leagues now, the Atlantic Coast Conference. So good luck with that. So James in his freshman campaign averaged 4.8 points per game and 2.8 rebounds. They're saying that as far as some odds-on favorites for him to potentially go is Oregon and Ohio State. And I know some even stats, some outliers might be some Duke. So just want to go around the horn, fellas. Your thoughts on Bronny James to the transfer portal, and where do you want him to go if he does explore that option? I'm going to go with you first, Tony. Your thoughts.
Like father, like son. I seen this coming a mile away. When all these kids was jumping in the portal, I said, well, Big Bro, I ain't gonna lie, man. I love I always said boxing is my first love, but basketball is my true love. So when it comes to talking basketball, man, I love it. But my thing with Bronny James is that I love Bronny James. I like this kid. He got a good personality. He ain't nothing like LeBron. I have a disdain for LeBron, but he don't remind me anything like his dad. I just think that a lot of people are hyping him up the same way we used to do Michael Jordan's son. It's like, your daddy was this, you should be that. You know what I mean? And Bronny James he just seemed like how Marcus Jordan was. Like, look, I just happen to be the son of a great basketball player. It's not really what I want to do. But I tell you, everybody, Bryce James is the one y'all should look for. Just throwing that out there. And I got Bronny going to Penn State.
All right. Shout out to Happy Valley.
Happy Valley, yeah.
All right. What you got, Mal? What you got?
Hold on, let me catch my breath. Okay, I'm good. Let me calm down for a minute. Hold on. Now I'm your whole wing get killed. Man, whatever he wants to do. I mean, bottom line is this is part of the game. My little brother is the head of player development at the University of New Mexico, right? And coach got coach of the year of the division. The point guard got defensive player of the year, and then newcomer, they got a player that came from Syracuse that averaged 0.1 points to make the average in 15 points this year when she transferred. Well, 7 players, like the next day after they lost to San Diego State, 7 players who I'm shocked all went into the portal. And my brother, like, oh my God, man, we got like 3 months. We got to do all this work. So this is how it's going to go. This is the name of the game. If it doesn't make it, it's just how it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I think the coach left from USC too, right? Right.
Yeah, he is at SMU. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to. It is what it is. You got to go where the best opportunity for yourself is to go. Like those girls is at University of New Mexico, and they basically overachieved this year. They beat UNLV. You know what I mean? They was one of the only and UNLV won the division. So they I was on that team. I can get in a better situation by jumping in the portal. Maybe good, maybe bad. So I agree with T that it's most likely going to be Penn State because I saw that. But I want Bronny to go because that's what Bron's saying. He wants to go where he wants to go. I also people keep forgetting that this young man had a scary situation last summer, right?
Yeah,
where they didn't even think that he was going to. It was saying that he wasn't even going to be able to play again. So everybody look at his numbers. I said, well, maybe he just didn't want to push himself as hard, but still see if he can get through his season. Because I still think he waived. And Gil said it. Gil said Gilbert Arenas said, man, he just a little nervous about letting that beast out. You know what I mean? And maybe in due time when he feel like he's really comfortable, it'll come out. You know, I think he's better than what he's showing. That's really what I'm saying. But I'm gonna say I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I seen Penn State though. I did see Penn State. That was one. That was probably that's the first one I saw that he was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, Happy Valley with what I got Coach Rhodes. So hey,
You know what I mean?
hey, that'd be a nice outcome for him.
Hey, hey T, I'm from Akron. I just thought I'd throw that out there. You know, some.
You a kid from Akron too, Mel?
Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
More than an athlete.
Go
So
ahead.
let me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Because I got a strong. So I started my whole sports journalism career amongst LeBron James fans, man. You know, as a Chicago Michael Jordan,
right?
It wasn't easy. You know, there's been a lot of thorns in the bushes, but
right.
What is your opinion of LeBron, bro? Because I don't really like him, but I'm interested to know what you say.
I think my GOAT is Allen Iverson. You know, we in VA. Allen Iverson, I was born in 78. My favorite player actually was Dr. J.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was black, most likely you liked Magic, but mine was Dr. J. Matter of fact, if you from VA, you should love Dr. J. He was a Richmond Squirrel. Like, he was big, you know? But, man, y'all don't understand how special LeBron is, B. And I don't understand, really, you could be I got a take for you when we get off air. I'm not going to do it on air, okay?
Okay.
And you're going to like this because you're from Chicago.
Okay.
Maybe you'll look at it from a different perspective, but if you really knew where he was from, man, you'll have, and because like even Coach, just how me and Coach met. Like Coach was this Jordan guy, and we went back and forth. I said, man, you kind of treating him like he had a silver spoon in his mouth. I said, if you know where he come from, you'll have a newfound respect and you'll understand his game just a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't think he had a silver spoon though. I never said that though.
But see, it's two couch coaches though. He's mature. He set me up. He set me up.
I'll put it this way. I didn't think he was like a rich. I mean, we know he wasn't rich. I mean, obviously, you know, because I knew about him having to stay with people, and I mean, you ain't rich if you staying with people that ain't your family.
Right.
Yeah, I knew. I was aware. I mean, I didn't think he was a kid from LA or anything.
When I first, and it's all good though, because oh man, I had to fight. I fall for the trap becoming one of those annoying LeBron fans and Kobe fans. Like they're annoying. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not like that. I saw Jordan be like I saw Kobe when he came his freshman year. I remember Jermaine O'Neal, like when he came out of high school. I was going crazy for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I used to play live and like, oh man, I'm trying to get all the dudes that came out of high school. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember all that. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this. I don't have too many issues with LeBron. He just it's certain things that he do in the game because I'm pushing for him that pisses me off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it.
I respect that. You know, one of my favorite players all time, man, is the first 7 years in Cleveland, LeBron, bro. That young boy that came in and just was like, before he was running around calling himself the GOAT. Really, I'm like, look, that's what. And it's only because I come from the school of Walter Payton, where you let everybody else call you, you know, you don't go around.
Separate claim. Yeah, don't do separate claim.
But outside of that, I like LeBron. I would say that he brings a lot to the game. It's just that he's such a polarizing figure, bro. It's like either you gonna love him or hate him. There's no middle ground. Like you can have middle ground with Kobe. Like, yeah, Kobe was, you know, the black mamba mentality, Mamba mentality. But I like Steph. You know what I mean? Whoever your guy is at that point.
Right.
But LeBron, you have to choose a side because you know amongst his fans, the adamant fans, they're gonna take you down and they're gonna go against their mama for LeBron.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as Bronny, I definitely think he needs to get feedback because I think more likely the head coach for USC is going to be Eric Musselman. So I think what he need to do at least once that's official, the press conference and third. I think he needs to meet with him. You know, it could be just him infield, it could be him, LeBron, whoever. And I think they need and see if his plans align with his vision with Coach Musselman and figure that out. See because Eric Musselman is good as far as developing young talent, and I think he could. I think if Musselman is a coach there, I think he should at least have a conversation and see where it goes about. In my personal opinion, so I think, in my personal opinion, I think he should stay at USC, especially if they get Musselman and at least have that conversation. But selfishly, I wouldn't mind him going to Duquesne, obviously, because when we come at VCU, being able to see, Bronny James a couple times a year, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, so other than that, I think realistically, I said my head says pause.
No did it.
My brain says stay at USC, talk with Coach Musselman, develop a plan, develop a strategy for yourself, and hopefully that aligns, that your goals align with his vision for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, I say go to Duquesne, and be with Coach Drew. So
Right.
Potentially, and that's just me, the selfishness of me. Want him to be up in Pennsylvania. Well, what's it like? More like I forget, was Duquesne more like Pittsburgh, kind of.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
If you watching the JJ Redick thing, I keep hearing LeBron say, "It's so hard for me to watch college basketball." Like, you know what I mean? And somebody said something about maybe he. I was watching Pat's show, and somebody said something about maybe he might want to go to the G League. And because they most likely that's where they're drafting from more, is the G League.
Mm-hmm.
But they get ready to get rid of the Ignite. So that's another thing where that sucked for him, because the Ignite was supposed to be like that, quote unquote, that kind of like an all-star team, kind of in the sense that those guys that really want to. I say you go. I say he. I mean, to me, I don't even think he's ready for the G League. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think he needs to just go to college for another year or two and get developed. And I think, like you said, he'll get that confidence now, since he's getting further removed from the situation that happened to him in July. And I think, and that's why, like, I hate these people that's on the internet talking on. It's like, this man had a cardiac arrest. Yeah. So I know he's already scared the fact that he don't want his heart to pump as hard, as far as when you're running and you go into the extra gear. Mm-hmm. He's got to overcome that, and you got to give him time. To me, for him to even playing basketball at this point is a miracle.
It's a miracle,
he had a teammate that had the same similar situation at USC. So it's kind of one of the things where I know they probably, as far as have had conversations, and I'm like, hey, it's not over. Like Kenyon Martin. Like, after Kenyon Martin had a great story, I think he averaged like a couple points a game, and now he got his jersey in the Raptors at Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's why I was like, people can say all they want. At the end of the day, I don't care if he's averaging 1 point, 4 points, whatever. He still got an opportunity. He still got 3 years of eligibility left. So he can turn this around in an instant. And it's a blessing in disguise that Enfield is gone. I mean, honestly, because Enfield was about to leave anyway. He was smart. Enfield was smart because he was going to get fired anyway. He's like, hell, I'm just going to go to SMU. Mm-hmm. Because you got to think to yourself, you're going to move from going to the Big Ten, then you'll get a job that's in the ACC where it's murderer's row, versus Big Ten is murderer's row as well. So it's kind of one of those ways where some people might look at it as a lateral move, and some people might look at it as a lateral move. And some people might think of it. Some people think it's a step down. But yeah, it feels he's on his way out. I'm like, I mean, he almost lost 20 games this year.
Hey, didn't something like this happen to Shaq's son and D-Wade's son, where they was having some type of cardiovascular issues or something like that?
Shaq's son did. Shaq's son had an open heart surgery like in high school, because they found it was like a routine physical, and they found something like a heart defect, and he had to get like open heart surgery. Now I don't think Washik had an issue, because he's doing his thing. If he's still in Africa, if he's still in NBA Africa, Zaire. I don't know where Zaire at these days. I mean, I know. I know. Because Zaire was in the NBA Africa. But he didn't have any heart issues. But I forgot what was his son. Matter of fact, what's his face? That was the one. Remember we talked about, because they got kicked out of somebody's party. Was it Saweetie party? Somebody's party. Remember, Sharif? It was Sharif. Yeah,
Oh
Sharif.
yeah.
So it was the one that Sharif that had the open heart surgery. That was like maybe about 5-6 years ago.
And it
Because
bothers me though. We talk about it, and don't nobody say anything about maybe that's that. Like it's almost like they say certain things and they talk about his average and his points, and they doing that on purpose, so nobody would even think to say, "Hey, don't he got that issue that he had last summer?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't even want to bring it up because they want him to, it's entertainment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and like you said, it's just people just being stupid and inhumane and just like hiding behind a keyboard because they know it's these faceless avatars that don't have a face that talks all this trash. It happens to the best of us. Like somebody, even I said the situation with Stefon Diggs last year. Oh yeah, you ain't shit. I'm like, it's an opinion, but look at me now. He had a 31 million salary cap hit taste. You
Yeah.
jackass. You jackass.
And see that it's such a shock industry now. Everybody wants to get the clicks and the views. Where it's like,
Yep.
What I noticed, big bro, and I don't do this anymore. But when the ESPN or whatever, somebody has a breaking headline or breaking news, I don't jump on those things no more because it's like, nah, bro. They're gonna give you the headline, but they're not gonna give you the development story. They're gonna tell you, this dude hit his girlfriend. And then the girlfriend comes on like, nah, that's not what happened. We just had an argument, and somebody thought they hit it. You know what I'm saying? And then ESPN don't come back and redact what they said. They don't apologize.
Exactly.
They leave it out there, and then they let these fools click up. Like you said, man. And this is why I didn't pile on Bronny. I'm like, what do you expect from a kid that just had a medical?
Right.
Expecting him to be, 25, 30 points a game. I'm expecting him to get into it, you know what I mean? And then I'm expecting by junior year, all right, we should be over these, whatever.
And which that killed me about expectations because even when we talked about it last year when he was going to USC, we knew he was coming off the bench. So it's like maybe we expect a little bit more, like this prior to him, having the cardiac arrest in July. But we talked about it like right around the time last year when he signed his letter of intent for USC. We knew he was going to be potentially his ceiling was a sixth man on this team because obviously you had Boogie Ellis, you had Isaiah Collier, actually number one player in there in his graduating class, in Bronny's class. There, so it's like, and that team made it to the Elite Eight. But minus what's his face, Isaiah Collier, that team made the Elite Eight last year. So we honestly was thinking, well, maybe he could be like that sixth man on this team that can provide a spark for this team. That's why, I never understand why people thought those expectations were so high for him. I'm like, we knew he was gonna come off. I knew me personally, he was gonna come off the bench for USC because their guards are stacked. Like he was going to be behind some people in the depth chart. Like, it is what it is. And I think, and I always say it was great for him because he already has played against great players. Like he played with Amari Bailey, Zaire Williams. He played with NBA caliber guys. So for him to be on the bench or do his thing, he'll be fine. Because I think Sierra Canyon really helped them for that because it's like, people just expect you to be, because you're LeBron's son, you got to have, gonna dominate. No, he didn't even dominate Sierra Canyon. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I understand, like, people, that's why I never understood how people had such high expectations. And I'm like, hell, if you watch a game, you can watch a documentary and that he wasn't the main guy there at Sierra Canyon. So it's just like, it's fine. So that's one thing that killed me about these expectations with Bronny. I'm like, no.
Coach, casuals out here, man. We have a responsibility
for sure
and journalists to do our due diligence, but a lot of these fools, they are notification. Their news is a notification, and that's it. That's it. They read those 8 to 10 words, and then that's their news. They're informed. So that's why I love. We gotta keep our foot on the pedal, man. Because for those who do want to look into situations, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why I like. And to your point, I know you said a little earlier. When it comes to breaking news, I only like to say when it comes to breaking news, like stuff like happened today with like Stefon Diggs, that type of information where the factual, like, and we if because I know we try to keep the topics like 4 topics or less. One of the topics that we were going to discuss, and we're probably going to discuss this at a later time, is the Rashid Rice situation. But like I wanted to let that, and I was like, I'm glad the Stefon Diggs thing happened because now I want that to play out because at the time when we thought about it, I know there's some sketchy gray area news when it comes to that. I've heard where he allegedly admitted, but it's not verified to a point where it's not worth reporting or worth talking about because let it play out, especially when it comes to off the field stuff, when it comes to like in case in point, like when the Deshaun Watson thing came about, we shied away from it. We didn't talk about it because until there was some concrete evidence and to a point where at least this went to court and there's some official documents, then we can discuss it. Because like the Deshaun Watson thing where you've had people just ready to just like go scorch the earth. I've heard people say, oh, he needs to be banned from the league. And I'm like, and it's like, we're not doing it because we don't know what's happening. I mean, it looked damning,
So messed up.
but yeah.
Imagine if it on you, like some girl just randomly, hey, he touched me. Like you gonna want everybody to believe her because it's like, nah. And I'm not saying things don't happen. There are some scumbags on the, but don't just run around. I mean, even this pertains. If a dude just came out of nowhere and told the police, hey, Tony hit me, I want to press charges. Like, could you do some research before you lock me up?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. For Adam Schefter tweets it out, and he'll tweet it out too.
Crazy.
Yeah, he'll do that. It's like, yeah, Tony's in Cook County. Breaking news.
Yeah. Whoa, I'm with my mom.
Right. What's going on here? Like, what's going on here?
You know what's weird about that? That happened to Cam Newton. I think he was playing for the Patriots, and I think they said he had got COVID. And he said, man, he was driving from somewhere. He stopped at a gas station. It was some weird story when he was talking. He said, nah. He said, no. He said they said he had COVID. He said, man, I just happened to. He was supposed to be somewhere, and he went to a gas station. Somebody saw him, and then the Patriots got in touch. It was weird. It was some weird, like it was some weird story like that. Where he was like, nah, I ain't had COVID, man. They just was kind of weird. Some weird stuff was going on. Like anyway, it's the
Patriots.
Do that, man.
Like on lockdown. Like that's all he was. Like I just went to the store, bro.
Right. I'm just doing what everybody does.
Right.
At this point. So we'll put a bow on tonight's show. We got 2 more topics. So this is what we normally do here on Couch Coach Live. We give a shout out to someone in the world of sports this week. So I'm going around the horn. Tony, who gets your week's game ball? What you got?
We were. I'm sorry, my back.
You good? Yeah, you good. You good.
Wife. It's a few people that I was thinking about when you told me about this, big bro. I really like that this segment, this aspect of the show. But I want to give a game ball to the entire LSU women's basketball team. Coach Kim, for being one of those coaches that ride for her team. I used to have a coach like that, Coach Dean. Whether we was right or wrong, Coach Dean gonna ride for you, and then he gonna chew you out. Public, Coach, he's our valiant warrior. So appreciate those kind of coaches that go to bat for their players. Haley Van Lith, Flage, like I said, they're giving their flowers to their leader, and then Angel Reese, being a consummate professional from day one. Given the fact that she did have a lot of pressure on her, but she handled it well. So my game ball is gonna go to the LSU women's basketball team.
All right, good. All right, what you got, Mallory?
Hey, Tony, don't judge me. My game ball is going to the iconic, legendary Couch Coach Live. He was able to cover NASCAR. So I want to get it right. What happened? You covered your first raceway or something like that?
Fourth. Yeah, it was my fourth
Fourth? There's a
NASCAR.
fourth one?
Yeah,
Okay,
fourth.
okay.
Yeah, fourth one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how was that feeling, man? Because did you ever follow NASCAR or just? I mean, this is big to me, man. That you expanding your brand.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched NASCAR from. I would say I'm a casual from obviously, but yeah, it's just something that started in 2022. And it just going forward, just been great going to the raceway. Just been able to cultivate relationships with people in NASCAR, and it's been fun, especially this week. This year I was able to go to both of the races because the last 3 races I've had like scheduled conflicts that Saturday. Right. So I was able to actually go to NASCAR the whole entire weekend. It was great. I mean, I was able to interview, obviously Denny Hamlin, the winner of Toyota's 400. Able to talk to him pre-race and then also at some post-race. So I was able to talk to him. And I think the best one was Coach Gibbs. I think obviously.
Yes, I saw that.
And it's funny because I was like a little kid because like.
Right.
Because I came into the press room and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Coach Gibbs."
I knew it.
And he sat down and I'm like, and it's crazy because I was like, "All right," and it was funny because with them, they'll introduce Coach and then they like, if you have a question, raise your hand.
Right.
I raised my hand. I almost stood up and was like, because and he was awesome, and it was awesome, and it's funny because I was able to see him last year, like on the at the end of the race. We were just talking here and there, but it was good to kind of actually ask a question and talk to him, and it was awesome. It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend.
NASCAR. You seen Gibbs, and what was it last year? You saw Michael.
2022.
Yeah,
2022.
Then you say, "Hey, Michael," he waved to you or something like that.
I nodded to him. I was like, and he's like, I was shocked. I think probably because I didn't have a camera or nothing in it. I was just normal. He just seen me. He was coming out the turn, and I was coming in, so it was like kind of So it was Yeah, it was cool. It was so cool. I was like, "Oh my God, this is my..." And he was so like walking around like it's so crazy. Like he just walking around like he was amongst us. I mean, he is among us, but you know what I mean.
That's what's up, man.
It was crazy. It's like I was like, "Oh my God, that is him."
That's definitely a big move, Coach. I'm not gonna lie, man. You are one of the independent content creators, independent journalists that I follow. And when I seen you was interviewing NASCAR folks, I had the same mind in mind. I'm like,
right. But when you think about it, when I met him, I told him, I said, my vision is for you to be a Tri-City icon legend. That's just what I have, because I think your personality, you easy to talk to.
Right.
And when you're in this position, it is, like I always said, Arsenio Hall was my favorite, because when you sat on that couch, he made you comfortable, and he wasn't there to down you. He was there to keep you up. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Coach got the same vibration.
Yeah, I agree.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
You definitely got a fan over here, man. Whatever you dropping,
appreciate it.
And sharing and subscribing.
For sure. The same thing, and I got you too. And I definitely appreciate you, especially during Super Bowl week. Yeah, you was sharing the content. Definitely appreciate that, man. For sure.
Yes,
for sure. So I gotta get my game ball. And it's very interesting. I gotta give my game ball to Jeremy Roach and Baylor's Dariana Littlepage Bugs. They actually got an NIL deal with Raid this week. So I think it's really cool that Raid reached out to them, because obviously we know this is bug season is approaching. So they reached out to Jeremy Roach from Duke and then Dariana Littlepage Bugs.
That's hilarious.
And I think that's the most cool, and that's the thing. This is where I love about the NIL, because these opportunities for these young athletes, they can have it. You think to yourself, I know they got criticized for their name, got picked on as kids, and now it's like, look at me now. I got NIL deal with Raid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing, So definitely huge shout out to them. Definitely a great move for them. Yeah. So
That's dope.
Yeah, I know, man. It's really cool, man. I was like, man, this is. I was like, hey, shout out to NIL, man. It's starting to finally get it right.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta ask you real
Yeah.
quick, just with you speaking on NIL, do you think Nick Saban, because a lot of, the rumor was Nick Saban got out of the coaching game because of the NIL. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
I mean, I'm gonna put it this way: it's good for the athletes, and it's bad for him because, and we talked about it too on the podcast, because he's gonna get to a point where if he would have stayed a few more years, his quarterback would have cost his quarterback would have made just as much money as he did.
Mm-hmm.
And now, you look at that, and we talked about like how Alabama had a chokehold because of the simple fact of you didn't have the transfer portal, you didn't have those type of things back then. Where, we talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, where we used to have a running back room with Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, T.J. Yeldon. I mean, he probably had like about 4 or 5 NFL caliber guys all in one room,
Mm-hmm.
and if they were able to transfer with no, not sitting out the next year, this and the third, I mean, they all would have been gone. So, you always think, oh, well, Alabama, they don't rebuild, they reload. Because those guys are sitting, them 4 or 5 stars are tucked in their depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that no more because these guys know I can go anywhere in this country and play. Why am I going to sit behind somebody? And I understand people say it's a competition and all, but the guys want money at this point. I understand competition. I mean, yes, that's the concept of competition. It still exists, but if I'm a 5-star athlete, I am not sitting behind another 5-star athlete. I'm not going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, just to sit on the bench. I can go anywhere in this country and play football.
Say it again. Yeah, it does give these kids a power that we wish, say, a Reggie Bush would have had. You know what I mean? Or not, Reggie was a 5-star and played,
Right.
But just hypothetically, they're not prisoners to these colleges, these universities.
Yep. Give me his Heisman back. He needs his Heisman back.
Mm-hmm.
If we get NCAA football coming back, we need Reggie need to get his Heisman.
Yeah, amen, bro. Yeah, we need to do that amongst us independent journalists.
I think that's gonna happen anyway. I think people talking about it has been put out there. I think eventually that's gonna happen.
Yeah. He need it because the way these guys getting money, and we talking about rent payment for a condo in 2005 or 2004, which now if
and hold up, we got what's the boy Johnny Manziel with an 2-hour interview session.
Right.
He still got his Heisman. Come on, man.
Hello, right. And luckily he vouching for Reggie too, so I'll give him that credit. He an ally for it too. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. So we'll round out our tonight's show with our final thoughts and actually a little bit of somber one. I know we had great energy today, and we got definitely unfortunately we lost a former NFL player way too soon. Vontae Davis, obviously the brother of former NFL tight end Vernon Davis. We know Vernon Davis obviously from his days at University of Illinois, and also being drafted by the Miami Dolphins, the infamous when he got traded on Hard Knocks, and then obviously having those productive years with the Indianapolis Colts, and then obviously heading to Buffalo where he retired at halftime. Was found unresponsive at his grandmother's home, as the home is in his grandmother's name, on Monday. Passed away at 35 years old. Tony, what's just your final thoughts and your thoughts on what happened with Vontae?
Yeah, respectfully, definitely condolences to the Davis family, man. It's never easy dealing with a family death, and we don't know how close the Davis family is, but again, losing a family member is always painful. It definitely hits a little different for me, big bro, because I'm actually 35 years old. Me and Vontae are the same age, so it definitely gives you a sense of mortality. You know what I mean? No matter how young you think you are, all of our time here is finite. So, but definitely condolences to the Davis family. RIP to a 2-time Pro Bowl, a legend. I will never forget. Because I was watching that game actually when Vontae retired at halftime. He said, "No, was it after one play or one quarter?"
At halftime, it was halftime. Yeah. And I remember that. Yeah.
As a man You know, I'm usually one of them dudes that when I get a good job, big bro, I'll stay there for a year or two. But I've had a few instances where I'm like, I looked around the room and I say, I'm done. So,
Right.
Yeah.
shout out to Vontae for realizing this ain't an environment for me, and I'll be better happy. You know, he made a decision that I think we'll never forget. You know, at the end of the day.
Straight up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, much respects, man. Condolences to the family.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Same here, man. Just sending love and vibration to the family that's going through this. I couldn't remember who he was, and then I saw that. I vaguely remembered. But then, you know what I did see was a clip of the Hard Knock where he got traded.
Mhm.
And that put a, you know, it seemed like to me like one of the things is put it in perspective, like, because then when I saw other clips people talking about, they was like, man, it was one of those times where you kind of like, yeah, they shouldn't have a camera in you know what I'm saying? They shouldn't do that, man, because you know, and then how they talk to you and how they treat you. You know what I mean? He did not know. He heard the rumors. And they even told him, who'd you trade me for? And he was like, some picks. Like, damn. He said, you know, you're like this. We need you to be like this. You know what I mean? And they said in 2014 was probably one of his best years. He was arguably one of the best corners ever that year with his numbers. But yeah, man, like, you know, it's all a part of it, man. Like when you just feel like you can't compete at a level, he just said, you know, it's just time to go. And
Yeah.
you know, like I said, because you know, condolences, like sending love to his family. You know, he played 10 years. You know, I saw somebody say something like, there's a lot of players people forgot about that really help the different positions that nobody really looks at. And I think corner is one of those positions where they don't talk a lot about. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so they really should have a pod or something that's dedicated to that we could be love to watch, so we could learn different things about being a corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sending love and you know, and all that good strength and all that good stuff to go through these times to the family.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely heartbreaking. And it's funny. I think about obviously one of my favorite teams of all time, college football teams, was 2007 Illinois football team that made it to the Rose Bowl. And it's in your backyard, Tony, in a beautiful Champaign, Illinois.
Mhm.
Juice Williams, Arnelius Ben, Rashad Mendenhall, and then also you had that freshman corner named Vontae Davis. That was a really, really special team. Obviously, was able to beat Ohio State, and obviously, you know, following his career, in the National Football League, you know, and it's something. And we talked about, you know, when we was doing Hard Knocks, and that's like probably one of the most iconic moments. You know, obviously with him being traded, and you know, in this sense where it was so shocking that he had wanted to call his grandmother, and they pretty much told him, "Hey, get on this flight," essentially. So dad, and then just like saying, then the retiring at halftime. And I remember when that happened because we were all like shocked because he was like, "Okay, what's really going on?" Because it was like in September, so it was kind of like it's crazy to think like 2 or 3 weeks a few weeks into the season, you retired. So that. And my heart really goes out to Vernon and his grandmother. And I know they were close. Because I know, and obviously, I know Vernon, they interviewed him one time, and they asked him about the situation when Vontae retired and how he had so many missed calls, and then because he was in the middle of a game, so he called him as the game was over. So, but Vontae called him and his grandmother, as he was leaving the stadium and what have you. So, those stories, and I just feel for both of them. And I know obviously when Vernon was with the Redskins at the time when his grandfather passed away. And I remember he scored his touchdown and like he flew in the air, and it was crazy to think like, God, it felt like he flew. And then then after the touchdown, he just stopped busting out crying. That's when we discovered that his grandfather passed away. So, and I knew, we know that his Vontae and Vernon were very close with their grandparents. And then my heart goes out to his grandmother, and then also to Vernon as well, man. This is, like you said, 35, just to be that young, and like you said, it's to a point where it does make you think about that type of stuff. to think about, like, because you think to yourself, oh, you're 30 in your 30s, these things don't happen. So, it's one of the things where, you can putting pregnant. And and just the impact he's had, even in the short life. That's one thing too you've realized with these situations where, even though, he passed way too soon, but he did have, he did have a life well lived. Like we talked about our memories of him and all that, and this stuff will always continue to stay. And but yeah, man, it was really tough when hearing that. And like you said, it's almost to your point we talked about a little bit earlier, Tony, where it's like sometimes I got to, these news, it's got to be from somebody verified. Like I think I forgot who I ended up getting news from, but like especially with it being April Fools, I was like, look, this can't be, this got to be a joke.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was official. When the news came down, and and just praying for Vernon, his grandmother, and the Davis family, man. This is tough. Sure.
Speaking on that April Fool's, big bro, folks play so much on this internet, man.
That's right, and that's what I'm saying, man. That's why
Steve Harvey died, bro. I got the Googling and then like, oh, April. I'm like, hold up, God. Uncle Steve, man.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that pisses me off too, because it's just like, why do people do this? Like, you already know how life fragile is, and then people make jokes and make these things. Like, dude, it's like it kills me with that. Like, especially when it comes to like that type of stuff. It's just and it's. That's why, when it comes, like, I want to echo your point again, where when I get news, it's got to be verified. Because I remember when Kobe passed, I had to hear from Woj. Yeah. I don't care. My mama could have told me. Yeah. Everybody could have told me. Adrian Wojnarowski got to tell me that he passed. Yeah. I will not believe anybody unless it's Adrian Wojnarowski. Same thing on the NFL end. My mama can tell me something that happened in the NFL. Did Adam Schefter tweeted?
Yeah, facts.
or on NBA wise, the Shams, or anybody. Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm like, it's like that. But yeah, man. So
good point.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll wrap up tonight's Couch Coach Live. Final thoughts, social media. Just plug away what you got, Tony.
Yeah, got a couple things going on, big bro. But YouTube channel is my baby. That's my firstborn there. So definitely swing by there and give your boy a subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be dropping my blogs. We're gonna get into sports writing tomorrow. So while you're doing your NASCAR media, man, big bro, I'll be hopefully, I'll be able to write some stories around these events as well. So
for sure.
Just be on the lookout for that, man.
Word.
What you got, Mel?
Oh man, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan, 70 Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Just just doing what we do. I see y'all next week because I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of stuff we will talk about, like Doc Rivers blaming everybody else but his damn self. I'm just joking.
I know he lost 13 games. He lost to the Wizards. He lost to the Wizards last night. I'm like, come on, dude.
What a Giannis Antetokounmpo healthy.
But man, great show as is, Tony. Man, it was a blessing, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a blessing. Like, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty much. Great. Once again, another great show. Definitely appreciate you, Tony, for hopping on, and definitely can't wait to hop on your show next week, and we'll get that all coordinated. Definitely appreciate the invite. So we'll get that going. And pretty much social media, pretty much Facebook, Twitter, X, Couch Coach Live, also the website couchcoachlive.com. Pretty much anywhere social media, Couch Coach Live. Check out the podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast with there. And also the website couchcoachlive.com, where you can check out the podcast and then check out the articles and everything there. So Couch Coach Live is a one-stop shop for everything. But if you want to, go on social media, we there as well. So,
Thanks.
But yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.
Yeah.
Welcome.